Cheers, my Astro fam. It is the most beautiful day of the year with Venus and Jupiter coming conjunct, and we get the blessing of the optimistic full moon in Sagittarius. This is a lunation that can change our outlook in a big positive way. Welcome back, Astro family. I am cheersing today to you, to me, to all of us as we get to embrace this beautiful energy of the full moon in Sagittarius happening on May 23rd. This is going to infuse some more hope, blessing, optimism, beauty, goodness into our life as the full moon is going to highlight the energy of Sagittarius. All the planets in the sky are going to be participating in this lunation. I am considering it a cosmic family picnic. We're going to break it all down today. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome, cheers to you. I'm Mandy Rose. I'm a relational astrologer. So in my videos, as I talk about the current cosmic weather, I am doing it through a lens and a perspective of helping you have the best relationships possible in your life. And if you've been here before, welcome back, Astro fam. I hope you are cheersing with me today. I am cheersing with the Sagittarius blend. You can see it is blue, it is exciting, it is bold, just like the energy of Sagittarius. And if you've seen my newer full moon videos before, you'll notice that today's video is going to take a little bit different of a format because we're going to honor the energy of Sagittarius, which beats to its own drum. And this is going to just help us understand the entirety of the energy around the full moon a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is dive into my favorite part of all my new and full moon videos, and that's my top 5 fun facts, breaking down this full moon in Sagittarius and what makes it unique to 2024. Then we're going to jump right in. We're going to pull up the chart, go into the specifics, make sure you have your birth chart handy so you can see where the planets are in the sky at the time of this full moon and compare it to where planets were in your chart at the time of your birth to see if it impacts you in any certain way. Then after that, I'm going to give you some journal prompts to help you reflect as this full moon is really highlighting a lot of our higher conscious mind, our belief systems, our philosophies, our outlook on life. But we're also being called to switch that perspective to more faith, more hope, and more optimism. And then after that, I will give you some activities and rituals that you can do around the time of this full moon on May 23rd to maximize this energy and to work with it. And like I do at the end of all my videos, I do the rising sign breakdown, which is going to go in the lens and perspective of how this full moon in Sagittarius is going to impact relationships in your life and how you can work with this energy. So as we go ahead and jump right in, I'm going to set this tea down or I will spill it everywhere. You guys know I like to talk with my hands. I get very excited, and this full moon in Sagittarius has got me on such a high. Now let me give you some of the basics before we jump right in. This full moon in Sagittarius is happening on May 23rd at 9:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so go ahead and adjust that for your time zone. It is happening at 2 degrees of Sagittarius, meaning the sun is at 2 degrees of Gemini. It just entered into Gemini sun season, and the moon across the sky at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, the best time to really see this full moon is going to be on the night of May 22nd, because it's going to be at its peak full illumination at 9:53 a.m. So the best time to catch it is really the night before as the moon is reaching its peak. And a reminder, if you have the 2024 Astrology Alchemy Journal, go ahead and open it up to page 37. That is the full moon in Sagittarius page. You can take some notes during this video. Don't forget to fill out your journal prompts. You got your ritual in here that you can do around the time of this lunation. And of course, the herbs, the crystals, and the chakra that you can work with at this time. Because the big question at the family picnic of all the planets at the time of the full moon is, what is the best thing that could happen to you? What is the best thing that could happen? What could be the best possible outcome? That is something we have to tap into during this energy, because essentially we have Jupiter as the ruling planet. He is the main life coach. At the family picnic, he is at the head of the table because he is the one that is dictating the energy and the influence we're under at every full moon in Sagittarius. And Jupiter is about expansiveness and blessing, and he is in the most beautiful place in the sky at 29 degrees of Taurus at the time of this full moon. And not only that, at the head of the table is Mr. Jupiter, but we have Mrs. Venus right next door to Jupiter in the sky. And with these two planets together, we call them the benefic planets, it brings us this powerful energy of Taurus to the forefront of how do we get to be more optimistic? How do we have more faith? How do we see the best in everything around us? It's through the lens of Taurus, which is our senses, which is experiencing pleasure in simple moments. It piggybacks off that new moon in Taurus we had on May 7th, which was a new beginning in experiencing pleasure in our life. after the lottery aspect, which was like, hey, if we embody the energy of beauty all around us, beautiful, lucky, lottery-like things can happen to us. And now here we are at the full moon in Sagittarius, where Mr. Venus and Mrs. Jupiter are at the head of the table of this lunation and saying we are at 29 degrees. This is our final moment in the Taurus energy, and we're going out with a bang. We are expanding Jupiter, all the beautiful things of Venus, which is relationships, money, material possessions, our indulgence, our senses. This is such a beautiful energy. Now, around relationships, specifically with this full moon, we have an opportunity to have very favorable agreements, beautiful harmony, beautiful synergy, sensuality, like just a beautiful meshing of energy at this time that makes us feel more hopeful and optimistic and positive as we go on the next chapter of our life. Now, Sagittarius is an energy. I think we need to break it down for a moment to truly understand the Sagittarius energy. It is a fire energy. And when we are dealing with fire energy, specifically the moon in a fire sign, it allows us to be a little bit more free. Fire is kind of that energy of a child. It is free and exciting and daring and bold and direct. And Sagittarius energy really is about adventure seeking. It is about looking at life through a very Delulu lens, optimistic and hopeful, seeing the best in things. It is an energy that really moves forward in a way that is seeking kind of what's next. There's not these boundaries, there's not fear, there's not worries. It's like, I just want to go on an adventure, and I want to call that adventure life. And that is such a beautiful energy for us to embrace at the time of this full moon, as we are in transition in many areas of our life. And maybe in relationships, you are needing more of this Sagittarius energy. That is why I created the Sagittarius blend, to be blue, to be bold, to be exciting, to be different, to take you out of your comfort zone. That is something I just love about the Sagittarius energy. It is about literally getting out of your box, expanding your horizons, seeking the thrill. You really may be feeling a little overly optimistic, so I do want to give you a little disclaimer, a little beware, if you will, is the fact that Jupiter is the great expander. However, he is influenced by peer pressure. So wherever he is and whatever he's doing, he can kind of blow that up. So as he is at the anaretic degree, the final degree, the most powerful degree of Taurus, Taurus is about indulgence and luxury and sensuality. We may be feeling a little overindulgent, a little gluttonous, if you will. So please be cautious and careful under this energy that you are not overspending, overdoing it, diving into relationships too deep, too quickly, overindulging in food or alcohol or anything that feels really pleasurable. We don't want to overdo it. It is my warning to you under this full moon. So with that, let's get into my favorite part of the video. I'm so excited to talk about it today. It's my top 5 fun facts that makes the full moon in Sagittarius unique, not only every single year, but specifically in 2024. So let's get into the first fun fact about the full moon in Sagittarius in 2024 is that it happens in the month of May. And the full moon in the month of May is what we consider the flower moon. That is its nickname by the natives, and it symbolizes and represents that after hard work of Taurus season, we can now see the seeds of our labor starting to bloom, starting to come to life, because we'd see flowers budding up all over the fields, and it symbolized the energy of summer being around the corner, because next month at the full moon, it is going to be the summer solstice. The second fun fact is actually something I just learned and I thought was really special to share with you, is that the full moon in the month of May is a holiday in the Buddhist tradition, and it commemorates the life, the enlightenment, and the death of Buddha. So it's a beautiful tradition, a beautiful celebration, and it happens at the full moon in May, which this year is the full moon in Sagittarius, which is the energy of religion, of philosophy, of our beliefs. And so I think this harmony of energy really can allow us to infuse a little bit of Buddhist philosophy into our everyday about do no harm and really being open-minded to all the people around us. So I love this energy. The third fun fact about the full moon in Sagittarius, which is very unique to 2024, is the fact that we have Venus and Jupiter, our two benefic planets, conjunct together at the exact same degree, while Jupiter is the ruler of this lunation, and they are at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, we are not going to have another full moon in Sagittarius where the ruling planet is in the energy of Taurus for another 12 years. So this is something to celebrate today, very unique and very special. The fourth fun fact is that we have another planet at 29 degrees, and that is Neptune in his home sign of Pisces. at the anaretic degree of Pisces. And so Neptune not only is in his full power here at his home sign, but he's also in this final moment of giving us this Neptunian Pisces energy of dreaming, of having faith, of optimism, of this belief that something larger than us is in control and helping us move towards our destiny. And not only that, but we have Jupiter and Neptune in a sextile during this lunation, really helping us dream big. And we'll get more into this when we get to the specifics and we pull up the chart. But just as a preview, Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces is in a sextile to Jupiter at 29 degrees. Sextiles are harmonious aspects of support, and Jupiter is expanding us with optimism, with joy, looking towards the horizon. And Neptune helps us dream and have faith that if we have a vision and we expand ourselves out of our comfort zone, we can move towards the next chapter and have a lot of luck, abundance, and growth. So it's a beautiful energy, which leads me then into the fifth fun fact about the full moon in Sagittarius. It has us reflecting back to the new moon in Sagittarius on December 12th of 2023 and looking and saying, what did we begin? What was our mindset like? What were we shifting? What perspective were we learning about? Where were we trying to expand our horizons? What adventures were on our mind and in our heart as we were moving into 2024? And now that it's been 6 months and we've grown from the new moon to this full moon, we can kind of look at this as a culmination point, as a huge reflection of how far have I come and where do I still want to go? So definitely look back in your life. What was beginning around December 12th of last year and how far have you come to the full moon in Sagittarius? As we dive into the specifics and pull up the chart, I want to share with you a really personal story about the specific Sagittarius tea blend. My man is a Sagittarius and he is not into tea at all. And so I thought, what is a tea that I could create that embodies his Sagittarius energy of excitement, of optimism, of wanting to go on adventures all the time? And I thought, you know what? We got to make it blue. We got to make it fun. We got to make it a color that makes him excited, because that is that Sagittarius energy that feels like you're going on an adventure when you're brewing it, that when you're sipping it, you feel like you are just living in another realm. And so we put butterfly pea flower in it. And did you know that Sagittarius rules over the liver? And so we made sure to add some herbs that support the liver. So we added some dandelion in there, and we also put some oolong in it, which is a very beautiful meditative tea. So all 12 of the astrology tea collection blends were formulated by me and an herbalist. And I essentially said to her, hey, if I give you the energy, if I explain the energy of that zodiac sign, could you make me a tea that when I drink it makes me feel that energy? And that's how we birthed all 12 of the zodiac blends. So if you're curious or interested, or you want to sip on this beautiful butterfly pea Sagittarius tea blend, you can find it in the description box below. And I do want to let you know, if you have not joined us over on Telegram yet and the Astro Weather Report channel, you are totally missing out. I have been doing the Astro Weather Report there for over a month. And not only do you get a voice memo from me every single day about the current astrology and what you can anticipate and what you can expect for the day ahead, it also saves you hours and hours of time of watching YouTube videos, writing things down, looking things up. It is like to the point, in the moment, giving you the details you need to know that are relevant to your day ahead. But also we've expanded beyond just voice memos, where every Saturday I do some astrology education. Last week we did an education on looking at our fixed energies and our birth chart and the areas of life where we like to stay comfortable, where we like to stay stuck. I've also done some channeled messages in there. We've had a couple giveaways. We had a couple guest speakers. Like, it is popping off over there. You can come join us for 7 days for free. Check it out. All of our old voice memos, workshops, education is all saved. It's archived, so you can go and binge all the content. And we'd love to welcome you to the Astro Fam over on Telegrams. So with that, grab your birth chart. We're going to dive into the specifics by pulling up the chart here. So you know what we do. The first thing is locating the sun and the moon, giving us that full illumination. The sun in Gemini at 2 degrees and the moon at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, when we're dealing with the energy of Gemini and Sagittarius, we're dealing with a very mental energy. It focuses on conversation, communication, and learning. And the difference between the Gemini learning and the Sagittarius learning is the way in which we learn. Now, Gemini, I call it the lower conscious mind because it's learning through data, through facts, listening to a podcast, taking a course. Like, you're breaking it down into concrete little bits of information. Sagittarius, on the other hand, is what I call the higher conscious mind. It is our belief systems, our philosophy, our wisdom. It's learning by getting out there in the world and physically doing something. So my analogy for Gemini and Sagittarius is Gemini, you learn that there's 3 pyramids in Egypt because you read it in a book. Sagittarius, you learn about 3 pyramids in Egypt because you were wandering through the desert on an adventure and you came across them and saw them with your own 2 eyes. So you're learning in both scenarios, but with the fire energy of Sagittarius, you're doing, you're moving, fire, and Gemini air, you're learning by thinking, by the conversations, the movement of air. And so with the sun in Gemini, we are moving into a sun season of Gemini energy where we're going to be stimulated, right? It's the twins. And we're moving into this energy of wanting to learn and wanting to network and wanting to connect and wanting to have conversations. And it's in preparation of Jupiter, who is moving into Gemini in 2 days. And so this is a huge energy for us to kind of see forward, that this Gemini area of our chart is going to be expanding. There's going to be abundance. There's going to be blessing. There's going to be growth here. And at the time of this full moon with the sun at 2 degrees, it is kind of the preview. It is the opening statement with the sun bringing heat and life and vitality into the Gemini area of our chart. But reflection of that, the moon in Sagittarius, the moon is our emotions. It's what we're intuitively feeling. It's what we're moving through. And Sagittarius is the higher conscious mind, right? It's our belief systems. It's our philosophy. It's our wisdom and what we've already learned by getting out there in the world. And the full moon is highlighting this energy and saying, hey, what else do you want to learn? Where else do you want to explore? How can you get out of your comfort zone? How can you go on an adventure? How can you seek a little thrill? How can you be more optimistic? How can you expand yourself by just living life here on Earth School? Of course, again, re-highlighting that Sagittarius energy is about seeking the truth. And so if there's something that needs to be uncovered or revealed with the full moon in Sagittarius, it's about getting to the bottom of it, of really actually knowing it because you were there. An example is for this full moon is like, maybe somebody was talking bad about you and you've just heard it through the grapevine, but it's not until you literally hear the person say something with their own words that you believe that they're talking bad about you. That's the Sagittarius energy of like wanting to actually live it, to experience it, to hear it, see it with your own ears and your own eyes. So that could be things that are coming up at this time where you're seeing the truth of something because you're actually there at the right time to learn that thing. Now, as we move along in this cosmic family picnic scenario, we see that the moon is sextile Pluto. And Pluto is retrograde at this time. And as Pluto is retrograding through the air sign of Aquarius, which is about the cosmic group, the collective, humanity at large, it wants to innovate, it wants to move forward. It's all about what's next. And Pluto's retrograding here and saying, hey, before we can move on to what's next, before we can expand into new innovation and new modalities and new things, we've got to go back. We've got to rewind a little bit and reflect on what is holding us back. Pluto deals with our fears. He deals with our subconscious. He deals with our secrets. And with the moon being our intuitive pull towards truth, seeking it, Sagittarius, and Pluto revealing secrets and allowing us to see the truth, expose the truth. This is an energy where internally we can maybe see that we're our own worst enemy. We can see that our belief system, our philosophy, the way in which we've seen the world has actually been hurting us. And now we have to Pluto retrograde, reflect, and go back and say, what am I afraid of? Instead of being hopeful for, right? What can I say? I am now shifting my thought process out of fear and worry that it's not going to work out, and now being optimistic in believing it is actually going to work out for me. So this is such a mental energy at this time. Now, you know, the next thing we do after we locate the sun and the moon is we find the ruling planet, and that is Jupiter, right? Mr. Jupiter at the head of the table, and we see Jupiter at 29 degrees of Taurus, literally smack dab on top of 29 degrees of Venus. Now, this is a huge energy that we have to tap into because remember, Venus is our relationships, money, material possessions, our valuables, like what we hold dear. And Jupiter expands those things. He brings luck and abundance and blessing and prosperity. And this is why I said at the beginning of this video, it is the most beautiful day of the year because the benefics are together and they are bringing the expansiveness of all the things that we love, Venus. And literally at the same day, a couple hours after this full moon goes exact, Venus will move into Gemini and join the sun. And 2 days later, Jupiter will move into Gemini and join the sun and Venus. And so this is shift of energy as we're moving through the last powerful moments of Taurus. And our ruling planet being in the energy of Taurus is really sending the message that in order to change our mindset, to change our belief, to expand ourselves, we have to be able to sink into experiencing joy and experiencing pleasure. Some people just seek and seek and seek and buy and buy and buy and go from one relationship to the next, and they never experience pleasure. They never sit back and say, this is actually so beautiful, because they're in such pursuit of the next thing. They get this car, they want a better car. They get this relationship, they want a different relationship. They buy this house, it's not good enough. Like, this full moon in Sagittarius is saying, yes, we want to expand, but we want to change our mindset and our belief and our view around life, Jupiter in Taurus, that we see the beauty in everything. We see the beauty in now, and the understanding that we have control over when and how much pleasure we experience. That can change our whole outlook. If we believe that abundance is possible, if we believe good things can happen to us, we change our mindset and we feel better. This is such a huge energy right now. We've been working through this Jupiter-Venus energy for the entire month of May up to this point, and this full moon is like illuminating this positive outlook, this positive shift that we're going to need to move forward in the next chapter of our lives, that is going to just make it feel juicier, that's going to make it feel good. And I really want you to be aware around relationships and money at this time, because sometimes we want to keep buying and buying, and we want to be in the next relationship because this one's not good enough, and we want to go to extremes sometimes to seek joy, to seek pleasure, to seek something that feels good. But we don't want to overdo it. We want to embody the now, be present. That is Jupiter's message, our ruling planet, as he's in Taurus at this time. This truly is such a beautiful day of the year. Some of the energies you might be feeling around this time, as the full moon is kind of highlighting everything, is some romantic sweetness. Going on a date night or a date weekend would be beautiful around this energy. Getting out in nature, planting a garden, being really creative, beautifying your spaces, beautifying different things in your life. It's really favorable for agreements or signing contracts or negotiating things, solidifying a relationship. So like asking someone to be official with you or proposing to someone. There's this energy of luxuriating in things that you already have. So beautiful, beautiful energy. It's just literally the most beautiful day of the year. Last thing we really need to see in the chart, the final message, is the fact that Jupiter at 29 degrees of Taurus is sextile Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. And then Neptune is saying, hey, I'm over here bringing in the harmonious energy, the sextile, and saying, have faith, dream big, trust in something higher than yourself. That is very Neptune and Pisces. Like, Delulu, put those rose-colored glasses on. It's all going to work out. Like, it is such an expansive energy of just saying, if I believe it, it's possible. I've already manifested it because it's in my mind. It's in my vortex. It's in my reality. I just now need to do the work, and I need to change my outlook, and I need to have faith, and I need to find pleasure in my life, and I need to go on an adventure, expand my horizons, and get out of my comfort zone so that I can have my dreams come true. And that really summarizes this full moon in Sagittarius. So I hope you enjoy this energy. I hope you have a beautiful day. Let me give you some journal prompts that you can contemplate on. You want to look at the Sagittarius area of your life, and you need to ask yourself, what do I need to release in this area of my life that doesn't bring me joy and pleasure? That's the first one. If you don't know what the Sagittarius area of your life is, go to the rising sign forecast. We'll break it down. Come back to this journal prompt. The second journal prompt is, what do I need to shift my perspective on? What is that thing in your life that when you think about it, it feels like doom and gloom? It feels not pleasurable. It doesn't feel good at all. Now, you don't need to write down how to change it or what it needs to be like. Just identify the thing, because that's enough awareness to say, hey, okay, when I think of this thing, it doesn't feel good. Just recognize that. And then the third journal prompt is, how can I see this in a more favorable way? The thing that you just identified, or in the Sagittarius area of your life, look at that area of life based on your birth chart and say, how can I see this area of my life in a more favorable way? So you can take that question in one of two directions. So with your journal prompts, that's something you could do during your ritual under this full moon. Let's get into the activities and rituals you can do, with the first one being I would definitely do some sort of liver support, liver cleanse. Like I mentioned earlier, in the Sagittarius tea, we added in the dandelion herbs, things that are really supportive for the liver, because Sagittarius rules that part of the body. The full moon illuminates and highlights any weak spots or issues with that body part. So you might be having some liver stagnation, some tired or sluggishness, some under eye bags. If those things come up, you know we need some liver support. So dandelion root, nettle teas, lots of green juices, very supportive under this full moon. The second activity when you're doing your journal prompts is to add in this storytelling technique. As you're journaling, as you're writing, I want you to rewrite the story of something in your life. Now, I want you to give it a beautiful, magical fairy tale ending. Let's say you're in a relationship and you don't exactly know where it's going and you're not feeling very optimistic about it. I want you to do some visualization through journaling. I want you to write the ending of the story of the relationship that is not really hopeful right now, or the thing in your life that doesn't feel very good to think about. I want you to write the ending in a beautiful, magical, fairy tale kind of way, the best outcome kind of way, and do some scripting with that. That's really helpful and a beautiful practice under the full moon. And the third activity or ritual I would do around this time is activating your third eye. You can do this in many different ways, but our third eye is ability to trust our intuition and to see the truth. And Sagittarius is a truth-seeking energy. It's about learning something because you are physically there to hear it, see it, understand it. And so a third eye meditation would be beautiful. You can find them here on YouTube. Just doing some quiet kind of meditation and thinking, anything that activates the third eye, super helpful at this time. So that about sums it all up. I hope you guys are just as excited about this day. Mark it in your calendar. It's a very beautiful energy for us to embrace and indulge, especially in relationships. So I'm going to send you so much gratitude today for being here, for spending time with me as I guide you through the current cosmic weather. I've been seeing so many new faces in the Astro Fam in the comments, so let me know below how you're feeling around the time of this full moon in Sagittarius. And if you like the topic of astrology and how to have better relationships by understanding it, make sure you stick around and hit subscribe, because I'm coming out with a podcast series where we're going to break down each episode a different type of relationship in your life and how to improve it by understanding your birth chart, their birth chart, the cosmic weather, and break down relationships, everything from parents and children to your best friend, romantic, siblings, co-workers, neighbors. Every type of relationship in your life is going to get its own episode. If you have a specific relationship that you are needing help with, put it in the description box below so I know what order to release these episodes in to give you the best support. Whatever one gets the most votes will go first. And of course, if you are interested in purchasing the Astrology Tea Collection or booking a one-on-one session with me, you can find all of that in the description box below. And now let's move into the rising sign breakdown. Remembering, as we move through the rising sign forecast, we're going to be looking at the Sagittarius area of your life, where it will be highlighted and illuminated at the time of this full moon, with a perspective on what relationships in your life may need this positive, optimistic outlook of the full moon and where you can expect some changes. So let's get into it. And like I said, we're totally switching up the format today in this video. So we're not going to start with Aries risings. We're going to jump start with Sagittarius because it is your full moon of the year. So Sagittarius risings, happy full moon. This is your full moon in your first house, your moon of the year, that allows you to release, let go, and shed something about yourself. So the relationship we're talking about today at the time of this lunation is the one you have with you. How you present yourself, how you appear, your avatar, your identity, the way in which you want to be seen in the world. So there's something around the time this full moon where you really need to do some inventory and assessing of how you feel about yourself. Is there something you don't like about your physical body? Is there something you don't like about the way that you dress? Is there something that is coming up around the way that people perceive you, that you can switch your mindset, your perspective? This is such a time for you to really dig into affirmations of, I love my body, I feel good in my body, people see me as beautiful, people are magnetized to me. All these kind of phrases are going to remind you the Jupiter blessing and abundance that's available to you if you change your perspective on your first house, your identity, and your physical body. This is also going to be a season for you where you're going to be able to reflect and look back. December 12th, the new moon in Sagittarius, which was your new moon of the year, your ability to start fresh in how you show up in the world and how you want to present yourself and how far you've come and how good you feel about your body. And if there's still work to be done, it's illuminated under this full moon. So set those affirmations, fall in love with you, work on the relationship you have with yourself. Maybe a good time to do a photo shoot, buy some new outfits, change your social media, revamp your avatar, and let it all go as you move on to the next chapter of your life. Capricorn risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is happening in your 12th house. So it's highlighting and illuminating your outlook, your perspective on your mental health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health. So we're really talking about the relationship you have with your mind, with the way in which you move through emotional issues, mentally challenging issues, your spiritual beliefs, your religious practices, all these kind of modalities that affect the way in which you show up in the world. So maybe there's a perspective shift, a change that you need to do. Maybe you're learning about new spiritual practices that align more with you. Maybe you're going from reading the Bible to reading the Tibetan Book of Death and Dying. Maybe you're changing your perspective on the type of rituals you like to do. And big thing for you, Capricorn risings, is really switching your mental state. Really saying, hey, the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm perceiving situations is not good. It's not beautiful. Remember, Jupiter and Venus are together at this time. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel beautiful to look at the world doom and gloom. If you are someone that deals with anxiety or having some OCD tendencies, really reflecting at this time of better thinking thoughts, better feeling thoughts. If you don't know about Abraham Hicks, I highly recommend you listen to one of her meditations under this full moon, because it's going to really help you understand that your mindset and what you're thinking about is going to create your reality. This is a very manifestation kind of energy at this time. So really looking at the relationship you have with your mind and your thought patterns and your thought processes and your emotional health is going to reflect how far you can move forward into the next chapter of your life. So it's a big mental moon for you. So good luck, Capricorn rising. Aquarius risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is happening in your 11th house. And so this is going to highlight and illuminate the relationships you have in your friendship group, with your acquaintances, with your network, with people that you associate with. And remember that Sagittarius is illuminating faith and optimism and joy and positivity. And so it's really going to be looking at the people in your life that you associate with, that you spend time with, that you consider your friends. Do they make you feel good? Are these relationships that bring pleasure and joy into your life, that allow you to expand and explore different modalities, perspectives, things that you want to move into the next chapter of your life? An example for this is, let's say you've always had friends that are moms and you've been in these mom groups for a while. And now all of a sudden under this full moon, you're like, but I want friends that are like business oriented, that want to start their own companies, that want to be entrepreneurs. And so you're like, being with these moms that just want to like be at home all day isn't expanding my horizons, isn't getting me out of my comfort zone. It's not bringing me joy. It's not bringing pleasure or beauty into my life. I don't value that as much. And so now under this full moon, it's highlighting the different types of relationships you want to get into within your friendship circles that are going to move you on to the next chapter of your life. And being with people, it's so important at this time for you, Aquarius risings, to be around people in your groups that feel optimistic, that speak positive thoughts, that see the world in a higher perspective. So important for you because it's going to help lead you into the next chapter of your life, especially as Jupiter moves in to Gemini and it's going to expand that area of your life. But you've got to first change the people you surround with if they don't bring joy, beauty, and optimism into your life. Pisces risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and illuminating your 10th house, which is your career house. And so this is the full moon of the year that is allowing you to see your career in its full light. And since it's the energy of Sagittarius, this is going to focus on what brings joy into your career. Are you feeling optimistic about it? Do you feel like you have a lot of things to accomplish? Does it expand your horizons, or do you feel stuck? You are not someone, Pisces risings, that can have a career that is fixated, that is stuck in one place. You are always wanting to learn something new, get out of your comfort zone, be like this fireball that is going all over the place. You're not meant to have a job that you sit down at a desk all day. And maybe that's coming up at this time as the full moon is highlighting the career sector for you. The other thing we want to remember is the ruling planet of this lunation is Jupiter. And Jupiter is one of your co-ruling primary life coaches. And so it's very important at this time for you to get very embodied in what you value in your career, what is important in your career, and how you can experience more pleasure by doing the job that you do. If you need to switch or adjust something at this time because you don't like the time you get into the office, you don't like the hours that you're working, you don't like the environment that you're working in, this is something you need to address at this time so that the next chapter of your life can expand and feel more beautiful, and your career can just be on the track that you want it to be. So very important at this time. Good luck, Pisces risings. Aries risings, I know you wish you would on first, but sorry, this video is a little bit different. So let's dive into the fact that this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and illuminating your ninth house. This is a beautiful energy because Sagittarius is the ninth house spaces. It is about expanding ourselves, getting out of our comfort zone, trying new things, going on an adventure, seeing life as a journey. And so this full moon might highlight what you want to do, where you want to go next. It might bring up some spontaneity, some bravery, and saying, hey, I want to go on a retreat in Costa Rica. Hey, I want to go learn something in Spain and go to school in Spain. This is a beautiful full moon for you, Aries risings, that is really calling you to look at what else you want to accomplish, where else you want to go. And if you've been feeling less optimistic or stuck in a rut or not mentally clear, this might be a beautiful energy for you at this time to say, hey, I just need to infuse some faith and hope and optimism. I need to see life in a more exciting way. And through that mindset shift, I might get these beautiful opportunities that allow me to get out of my box, get out there in the world, and move on with the things that I really want to create and expand into. So it's a beautiful, powerful energy. Good luck, my Aries risings. Taurus risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and illuminating your 8th house. And so this is the full moon of the year where you get to see clearly the 8th house space, which is the taboo spaces, the areas of life that we don't really like to look at because they're uncomfortable. So at this time, you have this beautiful energy of the full moon bringing more optimism, more faith, more hope, more joy into the discomfortable areas like our sex life, our intimacy, our joint finances, taxes, inheritances, death, these topics that we're like, ugh, no, I don't really want to talk about it. But you have an opportunity at this time where Venus, your ruling planet, is conjunct Jupiter, the ruler of this full moon, saying, hey, we can make this feel good. If we just tackle these uncomfortable things head on, if we address them, assess them, and move through them by actually looking at them under this full moon, then our life will feel more beautiful. So for you, Taurus risings, maybe you didn't get your taxes done. Maybe it's time to get them done. And after it's done, your life's going to feel better. It's going to feel more beautiful. It's going to help you expand. Maybe it's your sex life and you need to have a talk with your significant other or someone in your life about it and getting help around it. Dressing it and looking at it is going to help you expand Jupiter, new horizons, Sagittarius, and make it feel more beautiful, Venus. This can also involve, like I said, writing wills, dealing with inheritances, like these tough conversations in our life. Also might deal with you having to look at some sort of subconscious fear or something that's holding you back from expanding your horizons. So good luck, Taurus risings. This is your full moon to really dig into those dark spaces so that you can make it feel better. And luckily, this full moon is in full support of that. Gemini risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is your relationship full moon of the year. Whenever it comes around, it highlights and illuminates your 7th house, which is our area of intimate partnerships, relationships, marriage, contracts, business partnerships, people that you want to be connected with in a deep, long-term way. And so right now, this might bring up some of these relationships and say, hey, where have I lost faith? Where don't I feel really good? What relationships need a little bit of optimism infused into them? And how can I shift my perspective, my mindset, my belief around this dynamic, around this situation, infuse some more joy and pleasure into it so that it can stay with me or I can break free from it. So this is an energy where you're going to have to really look at it under this full moon and say, is this for me? Does this relationship have the potential to bring joy and pleasure into my life as the full moon is ruled by Jupiter conjunct Venus? And also remember, Gemini risings, you have Sagittarius as the energy you enjoy in relationships. So you need a partner that's going to allow you to expand. It's going to allow you to feel free. That's going to allow you to explore. You don't want someone to tie you down. And so if you're in these relationships that feel anchoring, that feel suffocating, that could very much be highlighted at this time. You need that energy of a relationship to feel exciting, to wake up and feel like it's an adventure every single day to be with this person. So at this time, you may need to assess those relationships and figure out how to infuse more of the Sagittarius energy into them, or you may have to let them go once and for all. Cancer risings, this full moon happens in your sixth house. So we are looking at your area of life that relates to your physical health, your overall well-being, your day-to-day habits, your work-life balance, and highlighting and illuminating where you've kind of lost faith or hope or optimism or joy in your every single day moments. Where do you need to infuse some more pleasure and sensuality into the little things like taking your bath or taking a shower? How can you make it feel better by adding in some eucalyptus or those little steam bath bombs? How about taking your supplements instead of having them all over the counter and looking, cluttered, getting a really pretty little pill box? When it comes to your work-life balance, maybe you need to change the hours in which you work or the way in which you accomplish your tasks. This full moon in Sagittarius, the ruler is conjunct Venus, right? Jupiter and Venus are together. And so this is really saying, hey, we need to have pleasurable moments in our day-to-day life. And where is this highlighting and revealing that we don't have that? And that essentially will help you change your perspective, your mindset, and your view on your work life, on your day-to-day. So instead of your day-to-day feeling boring and mundane, you need something that feels expansive, exciting, adventurous, and changing things up all the time. But first, we got to create some beauty and pleasure from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to bed, and then you'll be able to expand this area of your life. Ultimately, you're looking at the relationships that you have with people on a day-to-day basis. So it's like the lady at the coffee shop that you see all the time, your coworkers, your partner, if they help and assist you with daily habits, maybe your personal trainer, your therapist, who are people that you see on a regular basis, and ask yourself, do those relationships feel good? Do they bring pleasure into your life? Do they improve it in some way? Is it someone that you're able to learn from? Because this full moon is going to highlight the relationships that got to go, that don't incorporate these types of energies into them. So good luck, my Cancer risings. Leo risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and activating your fifth house, which is the fun house. It is the area of life that rules over our creative projects, our children, including our own inner child, our romantic relationships, people that we're dating and having fun with. And it also rules over our hobbies and what we like to explore and do just for the sake of having fun. And so this full moon is going to illuminate a lot of the relationships in your life that feel exciting, that you love to do fun things with. Do you have people in your life that you go to concerts with, that you go to sporting events with, that you do a hobby with? So this is really going to highlight the relationships in your life that you can have fun with. If you are single, this is a great full moon to maybe get out there and be more optimistic about your dating life. If you're in a relationship, a great time to get out there for a date night again. Maybe you've left it to the wayside. You haven't felt very optimistic about it. This is a great time to start dating your partner again. Get out of your comfort zone, expand your horizons, do something that feels really, really good. This would be even something as simple as like going to book a night at a hotel, a beautiful fancy hotel just for the two of you, getting out of your city or town, even if it's just a little bit out of the way. That Sagittarius energy is going to really expand your romantic dating endeavors. And then also we're looking at the relationship you have with children in your life. It could be your own children, it could be your nieces and nephews, it could be you work with children. But this is a beautiful time that could highlight right now how you can bring some more optimism and faith and expand the wisdom or the consciousness of children around you. So it's a beautiful, powerful energy. And lastly, I want you to look at the relationships that you have that you do fun things with. Who are the people that you call when you want to go to a concert? What kind of hobbies do you like to have? And the people that you do these hobbies with. This is an important time right now with Jupiter, the ruler of this full moon, saying, hey, we need to be around people that make us feel beautiful, that make us feel good, right? And so saying, who are these people that I like to have fun with? And when I'm around them, I feel really good about myself. So something to contemplate, my Leo risings, but get out there and have fun. This full moon is going to highlight opportunities to do so. Virgo risings, the full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and activating your fourth house. So we are dealing with the relationships you have in your family and the people that you live with, because the fourth house rules over our home life, our family life, real estate and property, and our places that make us feel safe and secure. And so I really want you to look right now as this full moon is asking for more joy and optimism. Who in your family hasn't been feeling very good? Who hasn't been I want you to ask yourself who in your life or in your family has been in a funk, because this full moon could really be your invitation to infuse some more joy into their life, to help take them on an adventure, expand them out of their comfort zone, right? You're the unit in your family where you want to have this Sagittarius energy. You want your family to feel good, to feel abundant, to feel a little delulu sometimes. And so really taking people on a road trip, a family picnic, like doing something that is just hella fun and out of everyone's comfort zone. You know, like when you get the family together and you play one of those backyard games and everyone's laughing and it brings everyone together. That is such a beautiful thing to plan around the time of this full moon for you Virgo risings. The other relationship I want you to look at is people that you live with. Maybe it's roommates, it's your children. How can you infuse more beautiful energy into your home, right? I want you to really look in your spaces at the time of this full moon and say, hey, what doesn't feel good? What sinks my mood? Is it the clutter? Is it the fact that we don't have routines or chores? Like really assessing the spaces in your life within your home and saying, how can I infuse more pleasure into them? Not only for me, but also my family and the people that I live with. So good luck, Virgo risings. Libra risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and activating your third house. So we are looking at your mental health, your mental spaces, who you converse with, who you connect with. If you are in school, this activates your education, and it also deals a lot with your social networks and of course the relationship you have with your siblings. So at the time of this full moon, it could be highlighting and illuminating what you need to learn, what you need to expand into. Where do you want to get out of your comfort zone in a new topic? So maybe you've been wanting to go back to school for a while. This would be a great time to say, hey, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to explore. With your siblings, a great time to give them a call, to reconnect. If they need some more optimistic energy or joy or positivity, you can bring that to them, infuse that into their life through a conversation or a connection of some sort. And if you're someone that's been wanting to network and meet new people, it's a beautiful energy with Jupiter, the ruling planet, conjunct Venus, Venus ruling relationships. Great time to get out there. You never know what favorable arrangements or new relationships are on the horizon for you. So I'd say definitely get out there and socialize. Connect with your siblings and go sign up for a class, a course, get a book from the library. This is a very mental full moon for you that's going to help shift your mindset and shift your perspective. Scorpio risings, this full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting and activating your second house. So this is your money full moon of the year. It is going to help highlight and illuminate your budget, your finances, your income, your material possessions, and the things that you value. And this could be an area of life that you have not felt very optimistic about. You feel a little worried about. There's some fear around this area of life. If that is the case, this full moon is going to help infuse some beauty, some pleasure around your money, around your finances. It's going to help you really find beauty in the things that you already have, that you've already acquired. It's going to help you expand some of your resources, but it's most important for you right now to change your perspective, to change your philosophy on your money situation and saying maybe you need to do some money manifestation rituals, listen to some meditations around financial abundance. This is really about shifting your perspective and the way in which you see money, seeing money as energy, seeing money as abundant instead of scarce. There's a lot of mental things around this area of life that you have to process under this full moon. And when it comes to relationships in your life, I want you to be aware of who in your life is bringing down your mood, your mindset around money. Are you around people that complain about money? Are you around people that have scarcity mindset? Are you around people that feel like everything's so expensive or they don't see your worth? Really important at this time, Scorpio risings, to find the people in your life that value you, that bring beauty into your life, that are willing to pay for your services, that are willing to invest in you, that are willing to spend time with you. You want to really find the people that see you as an asset in their life and treat you as something valuable and worthy, because that is going to be the energy you need in your relationships under this full moon. And that can lead to a lot of financial abundance. So just change your mindset and find the relationships that make you feel good. So good luck, Scorpio risings. I feel you with this one.